Shalom, shalom. All right, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And yeah, through the Spirit, I wanted to get into this lesson. I was really just sitting here, and the Spirit hit me, to just go into a lesson. I know recently I've been going into different breakdowns, mainly in the book of Second Esdras. That's kind of what the Spirit has been on me to go into. But Lord willing, I could get into an exhorting lesson this evening or this night, and Lord willing, you be edified. Okay, now as you can see in the title, fight for the reward is great. Okay, fight for the reward is great. And ultimately, at the end of the day, what the scriptures talk about when you come into the truth, counting the cost. Okay, counting the cost, and every one of us has our own, reasoning as to what drives us most in this truth. Of course, by default, it's the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. But for some, it's the the immortality. For some, it's something very specific, about the kingdom or about the Lord or whatever the case may be. Everybody has something that when you think about, pertaining to the blessing of the kingdom, when you think about it, you just get super motivated, super amped, super excited. Some brothers, you think of the different planets, the ability to have chariots and go to different planets, that gets you super excited. Some brothers, you think of the, nature, the earth, being in its paradise-like state again. It's all different things, but those things that we think about, as the scriptures say, in comparison to what it actually is, our meditations and our fantasies don't even come close. All right, which is the beauty of the kingdom of heaven. All right, which is the reward. Remember, there's the parable the Lord gave going into the penny, right? The workers who, at the end of the day, they all got one penny, because at the end of the day, regardless of rank and all of that, because that also has a play in it, but we're all gonna get the kingdom, okay? And when I say we're all, starting with the elect, okay, and even the wicked of our people, they're gonna come back in the kingdom, okay? So the kingdom, we're gonna get it, but for those of us who are a part of the hopeful elect that are fighting for salvation, we want to be the first go around. All right. As a matter of fact, let me actually start off there. No, you know what? Let me read this, and then I'll go to the precept I wanted to go to. Now, this is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 2. And it says, "Grace be to you and peace from the power our Father and from the Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Blessed be the Most High, even the Father of our Lord." Whoa, man, hold on a second. What the hell? That's a direct cut right there. This is the precept, 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 3. This is a straight up, down, left, right, 360 cut. For those who say that Yahweh Shai and the Most High are one entity, they're one being, the Yahweh Shai, the Messiah, is the Most High coming in flesh form. What is the Apostle Paul talking about? Why did the Apostle Paul say in 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 3, "Blessed be God, even the Father of our Lord"? So not only, he didn't just say the Father and then, in a separate thought, talk about the Lord. He tied them in together and said, "Blessed be the Most High, the Father of our Lord." So what does that tell you? Clearly, these are two separate entities, and it shows you that it's all throughout the scriptures. That point is mentioned throughout the scriptures. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, it says, even the Father of our Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach, the Father of mercies and the God of all comfort. and ultimately, and that's why the Spirit of the Lord is so comforting. Because when you think about it, there's absolutely nothing in this society that should pull you away from the kingdom, pull you away from this work, pull you away from this ministry, because whatever it is, unless there's something in this world that's going to be more rewarding to you than the kingdom, which that's if you think that, then there's something going on, there's something wrong, you're being deceived. Okay, so understanding that it doesn't matter what you're offered over here, whether it's riches or women or whatever it is in the society, especially now you're starting to see the truth about this kingdom, and that should push you more towards the work of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, because whatever glamour or lore that this place had to try and pull people into it, the world, it's lost that. And people are starting to, now people in the world are starting to try and look for a way to run out of the world. Okay? So it's like the building finally being set on fire, and now you want to run into it. Now is not the time for that. We see what's happening is we got the go ahead a long time ago. Okay, we got the inside scoop on what's going to happen to this building. So you know what we did? We packed our stuff and we left, and we already started running. So by the time these people smell the smoke and they see the fire and they evacuate, and now they're trying to run, we already way down the line. So for you to be already down the line to then turn around and try to run back to a place where even people in the world are trying to escape from, then you're being deceived. You're being deceived. What we're in is a fight, but through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, we're able to, we are more than conquerors. Okay, we have the ability to win this fight or win this battle. But how bad do you want it? At the end of the day, you got to ask yourself that. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want the kingdom? Do you and if you truly believe these things to be real, then there's absolutely nothing that's going to stop you from getting to it. If you truly believe that the reward that you're going to get is real, and you truly desire this reward, you'll find a way. Trust me, you'll find a way. Whether you got to crawl, I don't know, whatever you got to do, you're going to find a way to get it. The same way Jacob find a way to find that woman that they know is not good for her, good for them. She's trouble, but you'll find a way to get to her. All it takes is a text message, and here it is, 3 a.m. Dude is out here, looking for an Uber, call. Fuck the Uber, I'm gonna just walk. Reciting, though I walk through the valley of the shadow. No, now you want to recite that. But the point is that you'll find a way to get what you want. You look at even people in the world. When they want something bad enough, they'll find a way to get to it. That's how people end up, when they get so desperate, they end up stealing, they end up committing murder, they end up lying, because they're looking for whatever way, shape, or form they can get to that desire. Like, look at people with an addiction, right? As a matter of fact, you got to be addicted to this truth. And a quick precept is the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 1st chapter. Boy, this is a lot. Right. So the prologue, the 1st chapter and the 1st verse, there's man. You know what? Let's read it. So this is Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach in the Apocrypha, chapter 1, verse 1. And it says, the prologue of the wisdom of Jesus, the son of Sirach. Now, understand that this Jesus here in the Hebrew is Yahushai, but it's not talking about Yahushai HaMashiach. Okay, that's why he has the HaMashiach at the end, meaning the anointed. Yahushai, the anointed. This is the Messiah, but his name is Yahushai. Just like Joshua or Yahushai's name was Yahushai. All right, which really was, I believe it was Hawashai. Yeah, Hawashai, and then it later got changed to Yahushai. Okay, so you had Joshua son of Nun, and then you had Yahushai the anointed. So Ecclesiasticus, the first chapter, is not talking about the Messiah Yahushai. And just because you see the name Jesus doesn't mean that it's talking about the Messiah. Okay, as a matter of fact, there's a precept here. There we go. Colossians chapter 4, verse 11. All right. Now, as a matter of fact, I'm going to start at verse 10. And check this out. Going to show you that the name Jesus, just because you see the name Jesus, doesn't mean that it's talking about the Messiah. You know, and this is where if, a Christian will tell you that wherever you see the name Jesus in the Bible, that's the Messiah right there. Now, this is Colossians 4 and 10. It says, Aristarchus, my fellow prisoner, saluteth you, and Marcus, sister's son, to Barnabas, touching whom ye received commandments. If he come unto you, receive him. And Jesus, this is Colossians 4 and 11. And Jesus, which is called Justice, who are of the circumcision, these are my fellow workers unto the kingdom of God, which have been a comfort unto me. So just because you see the name Jesus over there, does that mean it's talking about Yahushua? No, it does not. All right. So anyway, back in the reason I'm in Ecclesiasticus, the first chapter, is because I mentioned about being addicted, all right, to this truth, being addicted to this word, being addicted to Chakhamah, which is Hebrew for wisdom. So it says the prologue of the wisdom of Jesus, or Yahushai, the son of Sirach, whereas many great things have been delivered unto us by the law and the prophets, and by others that have followed their steps, for the which things Israel ought to be commended for learning and wisdom, and whereof not only the readers must needs become skillful themselves, but also they that desire to learn be able to profit them which are without, both by speaking and writing. So basically, for readers, right, like us, for example, in order for you to really understand what you're reading, you need to become skillful. What does that mean? If you want to get a good understanding on the scriptures, you need to have or learn geography and history and mathematics and languages. Okay, Greek, Hebrew, okay, maybe some Latin. You need to understand these things. You need to read about different timelines. You know, you gotta read. You know, you gotta be diligent. So you need to become skillful. If you're gonna be a reader and understand the scriptures, you need to become skillful. That means you need to up your game. To what happens when you study in the scriptures? You'll come across an event or a situation that you may not be aware of. So what do you got to do? You got to go and look that up. You come, and this is why it's good to get into the habit of looking things up, because you come across a name you're not familiar with. If it's talking about a landmass or a location, what do? You go and look it up. Okay, type this in Ashdod Bible map, Google Images, and it'll pull up a map of the East, and it'll show you where it is or what's the closest region that it could be in. That way, when you look on a map and you see, okay, oh, so this is where Israel is. Oh, this is where Jerusalem is at. Oh, so a little south of that is where this is at. So that way, when you hear the name or you hear people talking about Jerusalem, or they're talking about Masada, or wherever, there's a visual image in your mind as to where they're talking about. Meaning, if somebody pulled up a map and they said point to where Jerusalem is at, you would have a rough idea of where to go and point to. You ain't gonna be pointing to Ethiopia somewhere talking about that's Israel. No. So you got to have some understanding of the scriptures, of geography, of the different things that you need to understand. When you read and you'll come across Old English, for example. When you read the King James Version, you got to understand Old English. You gotta get comfortable reading Old English, how things are worded. There are people that actually have trouble reading "thou shalt not." They say the thous and the shalls and all of that is too much for them. So they don't want that. But all of these things, as I said in the prologue, you got to be skillful, right? And then it goes into for those, it says here, but also they that desire to learn, be able to profit them that are without. So those that are without, those that lack the understanding, those that have the understanding, in order to profit them by teaching them and giving them the understanding, well, guess what? Those that are given the understanding have to do their diligence. See, today we have a lot of breakdowns, right? We have access to a lot of different breakdowns and interpretations and hermeneutics of the scriptures, right? Because the men that came before us did their due diligence, all right, from where the Spirit of the Lord was working with them from, plus what they have been taught. Now, there was a time, not during I'm young, so not during my time, but before me, there was a time when you can't just easily go on your phone and type in and then pull up a precept, pull up this, pull up that. So ask yourself, how did the elders and apostles and their elders learn all of these things? How did they get access to these things? They'll tell you. Marathon classes, reading all these books, because today you can go and type in an excerpt from a certain book and it'll pop up. Well, guess what? They didn't have access to that. So what would they have to do? They'd have to read different books. They'd have to go to the library. They'd have to go, okay, get this book. Okay, read in here. Oh, finally found the point that I'm looking for. Today, what we can do is pull up different tabs, right? All right, type this. What's the definition of this? Type this. What's that? Type this. Okay, now link it all together in a matter of what, 10, 15 minutes? But then you got to read this. And as you're reading the book, looking for the point that you're trying to find, there's more information you're coming across. And then you got to link that up with this. And it's so much, but that required that skill, that required them to have to become skillful so that they can benefit us who were without. So when you turn on the video and you see Apostle Tahar or Apostle Ramlog or Apostle Gabar or one of the elders or Apostle Rakah or one of the bishops and all of them, and they're saying, okay, and this is from a while back, and they're saying that when you read this verse, this is what it means because it goes back to this word, and then that also means this. They didn't just wake up one day and that was just in their head. They had to study. And it was harder for them compared to how much easier it is for us now. But they had to become skillful. And how was that through? That was through diligence. So for now, you can just click on a 15, 40, 30-minute video and just all the information is just being spoon-fed. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, you read it, you verify, but there, what does this mean? Press play. Okay, this is what it means. Okay, boom, there you go. But going on, it says, but that's a part of the fight. That's a part of the fight. Being diligent, having to the scriptures talk about much steadiness is weariness of the mind, roughly paraphrasing. But as it says here, continuing in the prologue, my father Yahushai, when he had much given himself to the reading of the law and the prophets and other books of our fathers, and had gotten therein good judgment, was drawn on also himself to write something pertaining to learning and wisdom, to the intent that those which are desirous to learn and are addicted to these things might profit much more in living according to the law. So this man, let me see, wisdom of Yahushai, the son of Sirach, right? So Yahushai, or Jesus, as it says, I just don't like to use that term, or Joshua, when he read the laws, right? If I'm reading that correctly, he said, my grandfather Jesus, or Joshua, when he had much given himself, right? So the writer or the author, when he had, or let's just go with the grandfather, when he had read the law and the prophets, and he learned good judgment, from that, he decided to also, from what he had learned and experienced, write down some wise sayings, some wise words, that others may be able to benefit from and live more godly after the laws. So as it says here, continuing, wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us wherein we may seem to come short of some words which we have labored to interpret. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another language have not the same force in them. Yeah, so when you translate something from one language to another, given, yes, you're going to be able to translate what is being said. The person reading in the other language can understand what's being said, but certain things are lost, like the force. Meaning, an example would be if you tell a joke in Spanish and you translate the joke into English, it might not be as funny because the punchline or the funny part of the joke is partly because it's being said in Spanish, the way it's being said and what's being said and the words being used to say it. But once you translate those words, even if you translate it verbatim, you won't get the joke. So that you'd understand what was said. Yeah, don't get it twisted, but you won't understand why is it funny. So that's like that. Those are some of the things that get lost in translation, which is the force of certain things that are said. And that's why it's good to go back to the ancient languages, to the Hebrew and so on and so forth. So as it says here, and not only these, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. For in the 38th year coming into Egypt, when Euergetes was king. So that tells us that what? This is the time period of, this has to be around the time period of, what was this? Either before, during, or after the Third Syrian War, because Euergetes is Ptolemy Euergetes, right? He was after Ptolemy the first Soter. I think he was the third Ptolemy. You had Ptolemy the first Soter, Ptolemy the second Philadelphus, and then Ptolemy the third Euergetes. So during that king's reign is when the author, the one who we're reading of right here, is talking about. Right? He says, for in the 38th year coming into Egypt, when Euergetes was king, right? Because he was Ptolemy, and the Ptolemies had rule over Egypt. It says, and continuing there some time, I found a book of no small learning. See, so here's an example of what I was mentioning earlier when I mentioned being comfortable with the Old English. When you see something, it says, I found a book of no small learning. That's just another way of saying that this book had a lot of information. It wasn't something to be, it wasn't no little information. All right. This is some real heavy information right here. Okay. So it says here, continuing, therefore I thought it most necessary for me to bestow some diligence and travail to interpret it, using great watchfulness and skill in that space to bring the book to an end, and set it forth for them also which in a strange country are willing to learn, being prepared before in manners to live after the law. All wisdom cometh from the Lord and is with him forever. Now, as a matter of fact, I don't know. Let's see, addicted. Okay, so I might have read over it, but the point that I wanted to get was inside of this prologue, there's a portion here which says, to the intent that those which are desirous to learn and are addicted to these things might profit much more in living according to the law. So you have to be addicted to these things. And that takes me back to the original point that I was speaking about, which is when you are addicted to something, or when you truly desire something and you believe that it's true, you're going to do whatever it is in your power to get that thing that you're looking for. And when you take an addict, for an example, an addict will end up stealing, hurting somebody, going to extreme lengths, because when they are without this drug that they're addicted to, they lose control. They have withdrawals. They can't function. They have to get their fix. Well, you got to be like that in righteousness. Okay, take that with balance. You got to be like that in righteousness, meaning that dealing with this word, dealing with this truth, the ways of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, you have to desire it that bad. You have to constantly fight, because you desire the outcome. You want to be delivered. You don't want to look, like I mentioned in the beginning of the lesson, what is here, not even just in America, but what's going on in Europe? They have a record heat. They're getting ready for a energy crisis. They're talking about this winter is going to be extremely difficult. This place, you got food prices going up. I saw something that they said $10 for bread or something like that. And the farmers they've been saying that, look, the food prices you're seeing now are not reflecting what the actual prices should be. But come the fall, ending of summer, fall time, that's when you're going to see the prices in the stores are going to reflect what the actual prices should be. And people are going to start bugging out even more. So all we're seeing happening to the world is woes and calamities. And that should be more motivation to fight. Because you don't have a reason to look back. They ain't nothing, like the angel told Lot not to look back when Sodom and Gomorrah was being destroyed. Because why would he look back? What is there for you? When you read the scriptures, it tells you that Lot was vexed with the filthy conversation, having to live amongst them and hear the shit that they talk about and they do. And this place is getting worse and worse and worse. So when you arise and depart and you're fighting for your salvation and you're one step at a time, you don't gotta, jump 3, 5, 10 steps. One step at a time will get you there. But always keep in mind that you have to keep fighting, because there's nothing, you don't have a fallback. There's nothing left back in the world for you. Your only option is to make it. This ain't you either make it or you eliminate the or you out of your mind. All right. There's no plan B. It's just plan A. Okay. What if plan A doesn't work? You better hope that's not the case. You have to make plan A work. So going back to where I was, oh Lord, I think I was in 2 Corinthians chapter 1. Yes, I was. All right. So 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 4. It says, who comforteth us in all our tribulation, that we may be able to comfort them which are in any trouble by the comfort wherewith we ourselves are comforted of God. And that's why it's so important to get into these scriptures, to give your mind onto the laws of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, onto the writings, onto the scriptures, because there's an actual spirit. When you read the scriptures, there's an actual spirit that sups with you, that dwells with you. That's why there's certain precepts you read and you feel calm, you feel comforted, you feel, you feel like this relief, and it feels even better to know that what you're reading is real. This isn't a make-believe story. This isn't a fairy tale. This is real life. All right. To us, it's normal because we can jump to a particular verse, bring it out, break it down, and tie it into our point. But the ability to look at a precept and to know this precept means this, and that this precept along with this other precept together give you this message, that's not something that is a secret that's been revealed to you. All right. For you to be able to hear what we're saying and it makes perfect sense to you, that is a secret that the Lord has opened up your eyes to be able to partake of. So you got to understand that if you are capable of understanding and believing this word, then the Most High is dealing with you on some level. Whether you are chosen, that we're going to find out. But there's definitely a working of the Spirit of the Lord there for you to understand these words and to believe it and to have your faith built up by it. So continuing, it says here, verse 5, for as the sufferings of Hamashiach abound in us, so it's like it. All right. It says here, for as the sufferings of Hamashiach abound in us, so our consolation also aboundeth by Hamashiach. And whether we be afflicted, it is for your consolation and salvation, which is effectual in the enduring of the same sufferings which we also suffer. Or whether we be comforted, it is for your consolation and salvation. So whether good or bad, it is for salvation. And yes, we're patiently waiting the return of Yahushua. Yes, we're patiently waiting for the calamities to hit this place, for this place to go down, for us to get delivered out of here. But while you wait, right? Matter of fact, that's a lesson, right? You know, I don't have my pen with me, but Lowell and I remember, while you wait, that's a good topic right there, because there's a lot to do while you wait. The scriptures say that the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. What do you need the laborers to do? There's a lot of work to go around. You know, there's plenty of work to go around, but the mindset you got to have as you are patiently waiting for Yahweh to send Yahushua back isn't just, I'm just going to get by and just be here until the Lord gets back. No, utilize that time. Well, not while I'm here, I might as well make the best of it. You know, while I'm here, yes, we're patiently waiting for the Lord, but there are things that we are required to do as well. Remember, when with the parable with the talents, after the the rich man gave the servants the talents, he left. He left. Now, the servant that ended up getting got was the one who just waited. He didn't do any work while he waited. What did he do? He took the penny, put it in a napkin, and hid it somewhere. And when the Lord came back, he gave him he came and took the same penny and gave it back to the Lord. The Lord does not want that, because what does that show the Lord? That shows the Lord you didn't do anything. While he was gone during the waiting time, you didn't do anything. That's once again like the parable where the rich man went to the marketplace and found people idle. So what did he do? He basically called them to his I think it was his vineyard, and said, look, you work, and then at the end of the day, I'll give you a penny. Now, okay, I'm gonna get a penny at the end of the day because I've been hired. But you still need to show forth work, because if you were hired at midday, you have from midday to the sun goes down to do whatever work you were hired to do, and then you get paid for it. You can't just, I'm gonna just be here until the penny comes. No, you got to work. You got to say, okay, well, while I'm here, I've been hired, right? So what's the work that I got to do? Oh, I got to do this. I got to dress this. I got to cut this here. I got to make these furrows over here. You know, I got to get these seeds and plant them. Whatever I got to do, let me do it. Because why not? While we wait for the Lord to come back, there's so much that we could work on. You know, there's so much that we could focus on. There's so much that we could do to flip the Lord's talents. And that, you know, you got to do the diligence in you know, studying and learning and growing, so that you can teach more and build others up. Okay, you got to remember that the truth is you can't have an individualistic mindset. The elect are a team. You know, teamwork makes the dream work. Well, guess what? The elect are a team. If I'm able to help build up this brother, guess what? He is now built up enough to where he can go out and teach and do this and do that. That frees me up to go and help build up another brother. And then now he can go out and build up another brother. Now think about how productive that is, right? Because if I'm the only one, I'm dealing with this brother, I'm trying to build him up. It's taking a little long. But then after that, he doesn't really get built up. But then now I got to go and try to build up this brother. Then I got to go and try to build up this brother. Now that's 1, 2, 3, as opposed to if I can help build up this brother and he can now get to the point where he can build up other brothers. Now I can go help another brother and he can go help another brother. That's him. That's the other brother I'm helping. That's the brother he's helping. And everybody that you help, you wanna help them get to a level where they can go help somebody else. So that's the point. The Lord said that the harvest is plenteous, but the laborers are few. We want more laborers. We want you to come and do work, because collectively, the more work we do, the better it is for us. Okay. So all right. So going on, Second Corinthians chapter 1 verse 7, it says, "And our hope for you is steadfast, knowing that as ye are partakers of the sufferings, so shall ye be also of the consolation." See? So as we go through the different sufferings, whatever it may be, whatever form it may be, because everybody, we all have things that we go through, but we always got to remember to fight. We always got to remember to keep the positive energy inside of our mind, because the scriptures say the spirit of a man will sustain his infirmities, but a broken spirit who can bear? Because your spirit, your core, that's your driving, your driver, or your driving force. If you have a driver inside of a car, if the car is damaged, if the tire pops, or the car has a dent in it, the driver can still drive the car, and you can still at least get from one place to another. But if the driver is hurt, the car is not going anywhere. See? So it's very important to keep the driver safe, and to keep the driver alive. And in your life, your driver is your spirit, and the car is your body, is your outer. Okay? So you got to always remain positive to keep your driver safe. And if your driver is safe, you may have damages to your car, but you'll still be able to keep on going because your driver is safe. Remember, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. We understand that. So the flesh is weak, so it may move a little slower, but at least it's moving. But once your spirit becomes weak and once your spirit drops, you ain't moving. You're not growing. You're not progressing. You're not moving on. You're not fighting. And the truth is not, as the saying goes, time waits for no man. Well, that's how the truth is constantly evolving. You gotta, the truth is like motion. It's constantly, it's like walking on, what are those things? They're almost like a treadmill. There we go. That's a perfect example. It's like a treadmill. Walking on a treadmill. When you're in the truth, it's like walking on a treadmill. You have to keep the same pace in order to stay there. Because the second you start walking slower or you stop walking, guess what? You're gonna fall off. You're gonna go all the way to the edge and then you're gonna fall off. Or sometimes you may get to the edge and notice, oh shit, I gotta speed up a bit. Or you may be speeding up too much to where you're at the front of the treadmill, so you say, oh shoot, let me slow down my pace a bit. But you notice the treadmill is constantly in motion. That means that you got to constantly be in motion in order to even stay at the same spot. So that's how the truth is. When you stop, when you slow down, when you feel complacent and you want to chill, understand that the more you do that, the further back you go. You start to regress, and you can't afford that. All right. Let me get a few of these precepts. I also have some more in here. I have one more that I wanted to get into, but yep, this is good. This is measure thou the time diligently. Revelation chapter 3 verse 15. It says, I know thy works. And the Most High knows that. That's the thing about serving the Lord, is that you can't half-assedly serve the Lord and fool the Lord. Look, it's like it. Let me charge this thing before the battery dies. All right. Cool. So now you may be You may be somebody that everybody looks at and says, "Man, this guy's flawless." You know, this guy is he's constantly on point. He's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing this. But the Most High may look at you like, this guy's pissing me off. You know, this guy is angering me. You know, this guy is not living up to the expectation. He's not living up to my expectations, and that's a problem. Why? Because the Most High knows what you're capable of. That's why, so you may be able to fool man, but you can't fool Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. And that's the thing. You can't get caught up on men. You know, you can't get caught up on, okay, how am I looking, you know, or how am I, you know, being recognized by men. The first, when you examine yourself, you're examining yourself by the standard of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. First, yes, we have those that watch over our souls. You know, they're overseers, they watch, so they'll guide you. So yeah, you know, if you are falling out of line, they will correct you. So there's a little consciousness of that as well. But your first concern and priority has to be, how does the Most High see me right now? And you know what you're capable of, and the Most High knows what you're capable of, because Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai gave you your portion of the Spirit. They gave you your measure of talents, and you know how much you can do. You know when you're slacking. You know when you're BSing. You know that. I don't. The next brother doesn't. I mean, a brother may know you, and they may you know, feel that you can push yourself harder, but every one of us knows within us, deep inside, how much. You know when you're on fire. You know when you're not. You know when you could have done more, but then you didn't. You know that, and you get that little guilty feeling. Yeah, you do. You get the little guilty feeling of like, damn, man, like I know I know this is what I should do. Like the Apostle Paul said, right? That which I should do, I do not. So I know this is what I should do, but then I don't feel like doing it. I feel like doing something else. And then when you go to do that something else, you feel guilty, because now you feel like shit. Like there's work that is undone. There's something I haven't done. You know, if I fall asleep without, when the day starts all the way up until the evening, if I haven't been able to do a lesson, you know, or put out, you know, some content, do some work of the Lord, it starts to trouble me, and it gets worse as it gets to the end of the day, because then you start to get tired, and then you want to sleep, but you don't feel comfortable sleeping because you feel like you haven't done what you were supposed to do. So you know how much you can do, and you know when you're not doing that amount, and the Most High knows that. So you could seem like, damn, you always doing what you got to do, but the Most High can say, no, you keep coming up short, and that's why it's on you to examine yourself. As a matter of fact, let me get that precept. Then I'll come back to Revelation 3:15. It's 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5. It says, examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves that how that Yahweh Shai Hamashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates? Now, let's think about that for a second, right? Yahweh Shai is within us, right? The Spirit of the Lord dwells within us. Now, we know how Yahweh Shai was. Yahweh Shai was not an easy man to please. He was austere. Constantly again, here it is. You think you did something good, and you come back and find out, well, why? So what? Do you want a cookie? You know, you go and you do something, you come back, oh Lord, this, that, and what you expecting some glorification for that? You know, and he just tell, look, you doing what you got to do. What do you looking? You see, it's here in Babylon that they reward you for doing what you got to do. You know, here it is. This is what you have to do. This is what's required of you, but you get rewarded for it. So you get used to looking for some reward when you do something that you're supposed. The scriptures say we're unprofitable servants, and we're only doing our reasonable service. So we know Yahweh Shai was austere, and we know Yahweh Shai couldn't stand to be around people that weren't living up to their potential. That's why he constantly kept getting on the disciples, cursing them out, because look what happened after Yahushua left. They came up on a high level. They went from disciples to apostles because they had the potential within them. And Yahushua, the 3 years he was with them, had to build them up and draw out that potential as best and fast as possible. So if the spirit of Yahushua is dwelling within us, then you know the Lord is not going to tolerate lukewarmness. The Lord is not going to tolerate somebody. You know how they say, look, if you don't want to be here, then don't be here. You know, well, I'm not going to force you to be here. You're doing this for you. The second you start feeling like you're doing, you make it seem like you're doing this for somebody else. No, everybody here is doing this for themselves. Why are you here? Why are you fighting? Why are you in the truth? Why do you do videos? Why do you go out and teach? Why do you read the scriptures? You want salvation, right? You're not going to give the Lord salvation. The Lord doesn't, he's not waiting on you to come and do this work to deliver him. You got to do the work so that you can have mercy, so that the Lord might have mercy on you. You're doing this for yourself. So when you start to, in your mind, make it seem as though you're doing this to get your camp leader off your back, or so that this heat goes off of you, or so you don't get rebuked, you don't get cursed out, that's when you start getting mad, because you're like, why I gotta do this? Why I gotta do this video? What? You're looking at it all wrong. You're not doing this for your camp. You're not doing this for your camp leader. You're not doing it for the apostles. You're doing it for yourself. Because regardless of how many times you get cursed out or you get rebuked, if you don't serve the Lord properly, you will not get delivered. Not the next person. So keeping in mind, if the Spirit of the Lord comes to try and sup with you, and he sees that you don't want to be here, you're not fighting, you're just here, you think the Lord is going to want to tolerate his spirit being around you? Do you think the Lord is going to want his spirit to dwell in a vessel that's being lukewarm? What did he say? He's going to spew you out of his mouth. So the Spirit of the Lord is not going to want to be with somebody that wants to be mediocre. Because the Lord ain't dealing with mediocre and just average. The Lord is dealing with those who are here. Lord, I'm sincerely here because this is the only way. I believe in the scriptures. I know that salvation is coming, and I know that this is the only way to get to it. So I'm here, and I'm here to make it count. So going on, this is Revelation 3:15. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot. So you see, in this truth, you can't be cold. Damn sure can't be cold, but you can't be lukewarm either. You can't be in the middle. You got to be hot. You got to be fervent in business. And I'll say it. It's easier said than done. All right. Some days it's very easy, and some days it's not. Some days it's very difficult. Some days it takes everything you got to get behind the camera and turn it on and do a lesson and get into this, especially when there's no topic coming to your mind, or let me say there's no inspiration. Because sometimes you may have a topic, but you don't feel the spirit, you don't feel the inspiration. And you got to pray and pray and pray, and you got to keep on fighting. You got to keep on trying to draw it out of you. It's like trying to start a car when the battery died, and then you keep on going, trying to get a spark, trying to get a little start. And once you get that start, then boom, you go with it. But that's the fight. That's the constant turning of the key, and trying to get it to start. And sometimes you the second you turn, boom, comes on. And sometimes you turn and turn and turn and turn, and you still don't feel nothing. And then you got to pray to the Lord. But it's a part of what? It's a part of the fight. So going on, I would that thou wert cold or hot. Let's see if I can find the rest of this precept. Okay, yep. Verse 16. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. So the Lord, he's not looking to tolerate that. Remember, we fell. We were in the wrong. We fell. We are the ones that are cursed. And now we're coming back to the Lord, beseeching him to have mercy and to deliver us. So when you come back to the Lord, the scriptures say, seek him 10 times more. You can't come back as if the Lord owes you something. Okay? That if you come into the Lord to seek mercy, but yet you come in as if the Lord needs you, as if Lord, I'm here, you either take it or leave it. And if you that's it, if I don't know, I'm here, and you know what, Lord, I don't know, I think I'm just here. The scriptures tell you that everything was created for the Lord's pleasure. So if you don't please the Lord, then why would he decide to have you here? And that's a scary thing. That's a scary thing. We only get one shot this time around. There's no more. You're not going to stand in your lot and do no. This is the final lot that we're standing in. This is Bayan Yasharallah, Job 32:8. But there's a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding. That's right. That's right. Hey, look, we all got to strive to be the best. The best. You got to strive to be the best you can be. Okay. And look, it's the little things, but you turn actions into habits and habits into character. The more you keep doing it, little by little, you keep working towards change. Look, there's when you have a goal in mind, there's somewhere you want to be. You don't just jump from point A to point Z. You have B, C, D, E, and you keep on going in increments and increments and increments, and eventually you'll get there. You start, you want to get more understanding, you want to read more, you want to study more. Start with 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Because if you try to start with an hour straight out, you're going to wear yourself out. You're going to be there after 20 minutes losing, you're not focusing. Your attention span is like, yeah, I don't know. But if you start with 15 minutes or 20 minutes and you do that for a little while, eventually as you start to get more and more into the scriptures, 15, 20 minutes will feel like too short of a time. Then you extend it to 30 minutes. And then slowly but surely, and before you know it, you'll start to see those improvements. You start to see those improvements. Now, this next precept I wanted to get is, I think is Ecclesiasticus chapter 44. Yep, that's right. That's right. Yep. Beautiful comments. Brother said, you have to grow in this truth. If not, if you're not growing, then something is wrong. And look, prayer and fasting. Prayer and fasting works. Look, sometimes the Lord puts you in certain positions deliberately because he wants you to come and call on to him. He wants you to come. I've said this before, that you may start off somewhere. Okay, you may not be the wisest brother. You may not be the sharpest brother. You may be. It may take you longer to remember things. It may take you longer to get your gears rolling. You may need to hear something 3-4 times before it sticks in your mind. You may feel like you're behind, but you got to pray to the Lord. The scriptures say that if any man, in the book of James, it says, if any of you lack, that's the spirit. That's the spirit, the water. Yaharos, Judah, Israel, James 1:5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. So that's why the Most High will get pissed at you if you lack wisdom and you stay without wisdom. That's when the Most High will get mad at you, because at that point, that's like when you didn't know, when you were ignorant of certain things that you used to do, but now you're not ignorant anymore, but yet you're still doing the same things. Then you have no excuse. Okay, the Lord may not have put you in a body that thinks the sharpest, but you may start off slow, but you don't have to stay slow. You may start off and say, you know what, damn, I don't feel like I got I got a really huge portion of the spirit. But so are you just gonna have that attitude? Are you gonna have the attitude that, you know what, Lord gave me only one talent, so I'm gonna just give it, I'm gonna move with one talent energy? No. You know what, Lord gave me one talent, I'm gonna move with two talent energy. And maybe I can get two talents. See? So as it says here, verse 6, but let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. If you look, if you were a manager at a company and your employees, though your workers, you have these workers, they're doing good, and you have a worker that comes up to you and says, look, boss, I know this is where I'm at right now, and I would like an opportunity to learn more about this so that I can help others, new hires, I can train them better, or I can do my job better. If you hear an employee come up to you to tell you that, that is going to be beautiful news to your ears. Because now you have an employee that's looking to improve his work standard, and that's looking to make business even better. So as a manager, if your employee comes up to you and says, well, I'm looking for a better way to do more. I want to learn more so I can do more. I want to do better at this job. That's what you want, right? You don't want workers that are just there just to be there. You want those that are trying to work hard. Well, that's the same thing. When you go to the Lord and you say, Lord, I see that I'm lacking here and I'm lacking here, and or I don't really know what my lot is, or I don't feel like I'm living up to the standard that you want me, you have for me. Please help me out. Please bless me with more wisdom, more faith, more knowledge, more understanding. If you do that, why would the Most High turn you down? When you gain more wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you do so to further the Lord's business. You do so that your lessons can be more edifying, so that you can be a better shepherd. You may say, Lord, naturally, I don't feel like I'm that brotherly of a person, but I don't want to feel that way. I want to be more brotherly. I want to be more charitable. I want to be more this, that, and the third. And you pray to the Lord and you make an effort towards it. Why would the Lord turn you down? If anything, the Lord will be pleased by your request. Look at King Solomon. King Solomon, he asked for wisdom, and the Lord was pleased that he asked for that, because it would further the Lord's will. It would further the Lord's business. So when when you see yourself and you see you're lacking here and you're lacking here, and you think you could do this better, pray to the Lord. Go and ask the Father. Go before Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, humble down, let him know, Lord, this is where I'm lacking. This is where I'm at. I don't want to stay here. I know this is where I'm at, but this is not where I want to be. I know this is where I'm starting, but this is not where I want to finish. I want to grow. I want to be better. I want to do more. Why would the Lord not? That's when you get raised up. That's when the Lord says, I see a fire burning inside of this individual. I see the sincerity inside of this individual, and they genuinely want to do more. They genuinely want to further my word. So of course, hook this guy up, put him on the ultra, on the ultra wave for the spirit. And the Lord might test you to see if do you really mean that? Do you truly actually want to change? And he might tempt you, he might test you, but after he has proven you, you'll start to feel that growth. You'll start to feel that change. So that's why when you are on the same level, you stay there, you don't grow, you're not doing anything. That means that what? Your options are there. The Lord is giving you the options. He is giving you prayer. He is giving you fasting. He is giving you brothers. He is giving you elders. He is giving you videos, scriptures. What hasn't the Lord given us to be successful? So the Lord expects us to be successful. Let me finish this precept here. James 1:6, it says, but let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed. So when you come to the Lord, you got to come ready. You got to come, Lord, this is what I need. You got to be specific. Lord, this is my request. This is what I need. I'm wholeheartedly beseeching you, and I'm all for it. And boom, go with it. Stick with it. So let me actually read a couple verses in here. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 44, verse 1. It says, "Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. The Lord hath wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning, such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, given counsel by their understanding, and declaring prophecies." Now, when you look at these men of old that we read about now and we regard and we look at as, damn, man, Moses and Daniel and Samuel and, Elijah and Elisha and Jeremiah, and, like, damn, these men of the Lord, and as it says, we honor them. But if you went back in time and you saw the coming up, the beginnings of these men, and how Moses didn't want to go back to Egypt. See, the Moses in the beginning, yeah, in his spirit he had that spirit within him, but Moses in the beginning wasn't the Moses in the end. Moses ran. He ran when he heard news had spread. He ran. He fled. He booked it not to look back again. And when the Lord came to him and said, "Look, it's time for you to go back," 40 years. 40 years. That's a long time. That's longer than some of us have been alive. So that's a long time. So imagine after 40 years, the Lord comes and tells you, "Look, you got to go back and basically face what you did 40 years ago. You got to go back." He's like, I have a life, you know what I mean? Like, I've been living this life for 40 years. You want me to go back to Egypt? Egypt is like bad memories that I'm trying to erase. Yeah, maybe sometimes I think about it, but then now I'm trying to, what you mean go back to Egypt? I did Pharaoh trying to kill me and shit, So he had all these excuses. "Oh Lord, but I'm not an eloquent. I'm slow of speech. I can't speak. Oh Lord, but what about this and that and the third?" The Lord is showing him miracles, so the Lord got pissed. But eventually, what happened? Moses stepped up, regardless of the excuses he had, regardless of what he felt. The scriptures say, when you read in the book of Exodus, you'll constantly hear, "And Moses did as the Lord commanded," and it was done as the Lord had commanded Moses. "And the Lord said unto Moses and to Aaron, do such and such." And Moses did all that the Lord commanded. So what Moses at the end of the day did was he put aside what he felt, how he felt, what excuses, what parts of the flesh, what concerns he had, and he prioritized the will of the Most High, and he fought. See, you read over these scriptures, right? And it'll tell you, and the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron, and they said this and they said that. That's not, when you read it on paper, it's one thing. Oh yeah, they murmured. Oh yeah, cool. But it's not trivial in real life. You have a whole nation, and you imagine how much pressure that is on you. That if you even breathe too much air, somebody's already looking. Yep, I knew it. He's not sure about what he's doing. He brought us out here to kill us. You know how hard it is to get even a classroom full of jakes to just quiet down and listen? So how difficult do you think it was to get a whole nation of Israelites to try and be on the same page? To just shut the hell up for a moment, for you to be able to try and, the second you even pause to think about what's going on, they already start talking shit. Look at him. Now he got us stuck. Now where we supposed to go? There's an ocean in front of us. I guess he must want us to drown because the Egyptians are behind us. The ocean is in front of us. We should have stayed in Egypt. All this pressure, all this talking against, all of this. And that's why I'll tell you, Moses went and cried unto the Lord. But what happened? Throughout that whole time, what doesn't jump out at you as you read is that Moses was fighting. Aaron was fighting. When you imagine putting yourself in those shoes where you have people coming against you. You have Korah, Dathan, Abihu. You have these people coming up, You say, "What? So you think the Most High dealing with just you? He dealing with us too? Oh, he dealt with them all right, But you gotta put yourself in this perspective. Imagine these people coming against you. No, you ain't no man of the Lord. What the hell are you talking about? You chose your brother to be the priest because he's all this extra stuff, and all this stress. So what happened? Moses kept on fighting, and as a matter of fact, there's a scripture that says, I think it's in the book of Hebrews, choosing rather to suffer. Yep, Hebrews chapter 11, verse 24. Matter of fact, 23. It says, by faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child, and they and they were not afraid of the king's commandment, which was to basically slay the firstborn sons of the Hebrews. Verse 24 says, by faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Right? Verse 26, esteeming the reproach of Hamashiach greater riches, right? For the reward is greater, or for the reward is great. So it says, esteeming the reproach of Hamashiach greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. This is why he kept on fighting. Yeah, he may not have made it to the promised land, but guess what? When he came back, he was the king of Israel, and all that. Look at the position he holds in the nation. So the Moses that when you read of first started, as he kept on going and he kept on fighting, guess what? Wherever you would lack, the Lord would back you up because you keep on fighting. And not just Moses, all of these men that we read about in the scriptures and we say, damn, these are great men. Guess what? They were all, we're in those same shoes now. They were all where we're at. Where the Lord came to them, the Lord chose them to do something and they had to step up to the plate. And they had to fight. And they had low moments. And they had high moments. And they had moments when they felt out of the spirit. But they didn't have an option. They kept on fighting. So we through their example, see what happens when you keep on fighting. Okay? And that's why, as it says, whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. So now we got to fight. Now it's been passed down from generation to generation to generation to where now the torch has landed on us in this generation, and we got to finish the race. So back in Ecclesiasticus 44 and 3, it says, leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning meet for the people. Wise and eloquent are their instructions. Such as found out musical tunes and recited verses in writing. Rich men furnished with ability, living peaceably in their habitations. All these were honored in their generations and were the glory of their times because they were willing to fight for the reward. And they will be rewarded. Just like those of us that fight now, and as the Apostle Peter said, if you give diligence, you give all diligence, you make your calling and election sure, you're never going to fall. So it says, Ecclesiasticus 44 and 8, it says, and there be of them that have left a name behind, that their praises might be reported. And some there be which have no memorial, who are perished as though they had never been, and are become as though they had never been born, and their children after them. So you have certain individuals that we know about. They're very renowned. We've read about their works. We know what they've done and all of these things, right? And they have a name left behind. But there are other individuals, other prophets, other men of the Lord, other servants who did great things, who did incredible things, but it's just not recorded for us to get access to. And so there's some of them that we don't even know their names in the scriptures. But guess what? They still fought. They still they're back here again to fight. So just because their story isn't told like how other men's stories were told doesn't make them any less important. All right. It says here, verse 10, but these were merciful men whose righteousness hath not been forgotten. With their and understand that we're in a position that not everybody has the luxury of being in. We were called. The Lord called us. Right? The Lord called us into this truth, and we are putting in work diligently, hoping that we can be chosen, hoping that we can make the cut and we can stay, and we can remain permanent, that we are those men. So it says, with their seed shall continually remain a good inheritance, and their children are within the covenant. Their seed standeth fast, and their children for their sakes. Their seed shall remain forever, and their glory shall not be blotted out. Their bodies are buried in peace, but their name liveth forevermore. The people will tell of their wisdom, and the congregation will show forth their praise. Why? Because they trusted in the Lord, and they were willing to fight because they understood that the reward was great. All right. It tells you in the book of Hebrews, the 11th chapter, seeing the promises afar off. Look at how far Abraham was from the kingdom. And yet, look at the faith Abraham showed. It was counted to him for righteousness. As well as all these other men. And we are closest now. We're not 2,000 years away. We're not another 3 to 4 generations away from the kingdom. We're literally looking at the downfall of this kingdom, which means the ushering in of the kingdom of heaven. So this isn't something that we have to envision afar off. This is something we're actually seeing with our own eyes. And so every day you wake up, you see this place going down, that's more motivation. That's a constant reminder that, keep fighting. Keep fighting because we're almost there. All right. So let me read a couple of these precepts in Lowell, and I'll end it here. This is Shathak Shar 3, Hebrews 10 and 36. For ye have need of patience, that after ye have done the will of God, ye might receive the promise. And in order to do the will of God, you got to fight. You got to fight, because not only are you fighting to stay in this and fighting to make it unto the end, you have demons who are fighting to make sure they get you out. What did the Lord tell Peter? He told him Satan have desire to sift you. So understand that, there are demons coming. There are demons that are constantly. They're like spying you out, waiting for the day where you slip up, where they can pull up, and they can try to get a foothold into your mind and come back. And guess what? You knock out a demon the first time, demons are intelligent. The next time that demon gets access into your mind, it's going to be hard to get them off. Because if you allow that demon to burrow his way back to where he was before, what's the demon's mindset? Oh, no. I know, I remember this feeling, and I know what it was like out there. Homeless, this guy done made me homeless, had me walking around searching, jumping into swine's minds and shit. It wasn't the same. I like this mind right here. So that demon is going to say, you know what? I'm not leaving anytime soon. I know what it's like to be out there. I don't want to be out there. I want to be right up in, I want to be right up in this mind. So you want to make sure that you don't allow them demons back in, because when he comes in, now he's coming in with his buddies. He's coming in with 7 others stronger than himself. And good luck getting them out. Damn demons, man. Damn demons. But hey, that's their job. They're only doing their job. Just like we got a job to do, they also have a job to do. And their job is to get you. So always remember that. There's a great reward, but as it says in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter, that the reward is there, but the entrances are made narrow, and now the path that you're walking on is as though there's fire on one side and there's a deep water on the other side, and there's only one path that only but one man could go at a time. So what does that mean? You got to fight. Sometimes you go in and the wind may blow and you may oh shit, then you gotta do it. You gotta balance yourself, calm down, don't panic, don't bug out. You know, don't think that just because the wind pushed you this way, oh that's it, I'm done, and you stop fighting. At that point, you will be done because you don't know if you had kept on fighting, you would have recovered your balance. Well, that's like this truth. When you hit a low moment and you say, all right, that's it, I'm done. This ain't for me. It's just too much for me. I can't handle this anymore. You don't know if you had just held on and fought just a little bit longer, you may have been able to recover. But you gave up. And if you give up, then, I mean, who's going to fight for you if you give up? Here it is, you trying to support somebody, right? And they're already giving up. If you're trying to support somebody and they're already giving up, you're not going to fight the fight for them. Let's see. Yep, this is GMS Truth Be Told 144, Philippians 4 and 6. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. So the Lord, Yahushua, gave us access. He said, anything you ask the Father in my name, believing, you're going to receive. So we have the keys. We have the access. We have it all. And now you got to take all of those things you've been given. You got to gird up your mind. You know, put on the armor of God, the whole armor of God. Gird up your mind. Count the cost. Prepare yourself. Examine yourself, and go and get that victory. All right. That's right. This is Big Nez, 2 Timothy 2 and 4. But no man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier. So at the end of the day, we've been chosen by Yahweh Shem Yahushua to be soldiers. And so we got to be all in. Because if the Lord senses that you're not here sincerely and you're not here to be all in, then you won't be here much longer. And that's a very scary thing. All right. So as Joshua said, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. We're going to serve Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the way the Lord wants to be served. Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, that's what I wanted to get into. Like I said, the Spirit was just on me to just, you know, go into this. So Lord willing, that was edifying and exhorting unto the elect, you know, and hey, this applies to all of us, you know, starting with myself, because I'm saying it, you know, but at the end of the day, yes, it's easier said than done, but it's not impossible. And at this point, there is no other option. You know, like remember, there is no plan B. It's plan A, and make plan A work. You know, so it's either yes or yes. But hey, Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodesh. Until next time, Shalom.